So it's a small book. It began as a series of talks that I gave, the BBC talks, uh, to explain how we, quote, quote, do food at the Abbey, from people, shopping and bringing it here and offering it, because we only eat the food that we're offered. We don't go out and buy food. And the different verses that we recite, people wanted to have a verse for before they went shopping for the Abbey, and when they offer the food, and when they're preparing it and cooking it. So we wrote verses for all of that. And then also for the offering of the food before we eat, like we'll be doing shortly here, we have the 5 contemplations from the Chinese tradition, and then a series of verses that we chant that are from the Tibetan tradition. And so I gave a whole series of teachings about all of this and explained the prayers and the verses that we chanted and everything. And then somebody transcribed it, and then the idea came, well, let's make it into a book. So we made it into a book. So here's the book. Okay. And Jen, our friend, who's a professional photographer, she took pictures of all the different stages of this. And they're on the website. We have a page specifically for this book. So what we're hoping with it, the audience is for the book is for everybody who eats. Yeah. And the idea is to show people how to transform the whole activity of shopping, preparing, serving, offering, cleaning up, everything that has to do with food, how to transform that into our spiritual practice, or how to bring it into our spiritual practice. And, because we eat all the time, so it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of touch base with our heart and what's in here, and as well as to make it a practice of generosity, of offering the food. So, because people need that, everything. Nowadays, it's like, you go into a Pizza Hut and get a pizza, and as soon as it comes over the counter, you start eating it before you've even gone to the cashier to pay for it. And, there's no kind of subtlety about food in America these days. It's more just eat and run. And so this really gives a chance for people to slow down and think about what they're doing. And although it's talking about how we do food here at the Abbey, it's applicable to everybody. And it's really nice, I think, when families also pause before eating. And, how many families eat together nowadays? When I was little, dinner with the whole family was a must. You never skip that. And nowadays, people are coming and going all over the place. So I think just the idea of getting everybody together, offering the food together, especially if you have small children, it's so sweet when the little kids get involved in offering the food. And then, taking the time to actually talk to each other instead of talk by each other as you're going different ways, or text each other when you're in the same house. To be able to sit down and eat with the people that you care about the most, and discuss your day. And make that an important part of our life, because if we're always running here and running there, then of course conflict arises in relationships. Of course people feel out of touch with the people they live with, and then you get all sorts of problems coming from that. Yeah. So food and our customs around food really provide an opportunity to prevent those kind of difficulties in families and communities and so on. So that's what the Compassionate Kitchen is all about. The subtitle is Buddhist Practices for Eating with Mindfulness and Gratitude.